What drives a person to shatter the gates of a national park with their truck? Knowing the world is watching. For Karen Whitaker, it was a fire in her heart, a mix of defiance, desperation, and a belief that she was above the rules. This is the story of her fall, a tale woven with pride, betrayal, and a bitter reckoning that left scars deeper than any fine could inflict. Karen had always been a force of nature in her small town of Pine Hollow, nestled at the edge of Glacier National Park. Her truck, a battered red F-150, was as much a part of her as her sharp tongue and unyielding opinions. She ran a local diner, Karen's Cafe, where she served coffee with a side of unsolicited advice. To some, she was a pillar of the community. To others, a walking storm. But nobody could deny her love for the park, its emerald valleys, towering pines, and the quiet that felt like a secret only she understood. She'd hiked every trail, camped under its stars, and claimed it as her own. So when the park's new regulations banned overnight camping to protect a rare species of wildflower, Karen took it personally. "They can't lock my park," she muttered one evening, slamming a plate of pie onto a customer's table. "Those bureaucrats in D.C. don't know a damn thing about this land." Her voice carried the weight of someone who believed she was fighting for something bigger than herself. But beneath her bravado, there was a crack of fear that her world was slipping away. The new rules weren't just about flowers. The park's ecosystem was collapsing under the weight of overuse, and rangers had started gating off restricted areas. Karen saw it as an attack on her freedom, a betrayal by the very land she'd loved for decades. She wasn't alone in her anger. At the diner, locals grumbled about government overreach and city folks ruining everything. Among them was Ethan, a quiet park ranger who often stopped by for coffee. He was young, barely 30, with a gentle smile that hid a spine of steel. Karen liked him, trusted him, even if she teased him about his fancy ranger hat. One night, as the diner emptied, Ethan lingered. "Karen," he said, his voice low, "you know why they're closing the trails? The Karen flowers, those little purple ones you love? They're dying out. If we don't act, they'll be gone forever." Karen scoffed, pouring him a refill. "Flowers come back, Ethan. Always do. You're too young to understand what this park means to folks like me." Ethan's eyes darkened, but he said nothing more. That silence stuck with Karen, gnawing at her like a splinter. The idea came to her a week later, fueled by a late-night argument with her sister, Lila, who'd moved to the city and called Karen's obsession with the park small-town nonsense. Lila's words stung, and Karen's pride flared. She'd show them all, Lila, the rangers, the government. She'd reclaim her park. The plan was simple. Drive her truck through the locked gate at the west entrance, open it for everyone, and make a stand. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for every local who felt pushed out by rules they didn't make. Under a moonless sky, Karen climbed into her truck, her hands trembling with adrenaline. The gate loomed ahead, a metal barrier glinting in her headlights. She gunned the engine, and with a sickening crunch, the gate buckled. Metal screamed, sparks flew, and the truck roared through. For a moment, she felt invincible, a warrior reclaiming her kingdom. She parked, stepped out, and breathed in the cool night air, expecting cheers from the shadows. But there was only silence. Word spread fast. By morning, Karen's act was all over the news. "Local woman destroys National Park gate in protest," the headlines screamed. Social media erupted, dubbing her Karen the Gatebreaker. Some called her a hero, others a reckless fool. But the consequences came swiftly. The Park Service filed charges, and a judge slapped her with a $175,000 fine for damages and environmental harm. Worse, she was banned from all public lands, every park, forest, and trail she'd ever loved. The news hit her like a physical blow. Karen, who'd spent her life under open skies, was now in exile. At the diner, the mood shifted. Regulars stopped coming. Whispers followed her. She went too far. What was she thinking? Karen's defiance curdled into bitterness. She'd expected support, maybe even a rally, but the town turned its back. Even Lila, who came to visit, offered no comfort. You always thought you were bigger than everyone else, Lila said, her voice cold. Now look at you. Karen wanted to scream, to tell her sister she'd done it for them all. But the words wouldn't come. Then came the twist, the one nobody saw coming, not even Karen. Ethan, the ranger she trusted, had been the one to turn her in. He'd been at the park that night, patrolling a nearby trail, and saw her truck's headlights. Torn between duty and loyalty, he'd reported her, his heart heavy but his resolve firm. When Karen learned the truth, it broke something in her. She'd seen Ethan as a friend, maybe even a son, someone who understood her love for the land. But he'd chosen the rules over her. She confronted him at the diner, her voice shaking with rage. You betrayed me, Ethan. Why? He met her gaze, unflinching. Because you betrayed the park, he said. You think you love it, but you only love what it gives you. Those flowers, Corinthary, gone from that valley now. Your truck tore up their roots. His words cut deeper than any fine, deeper than the ban. For the first time, Karen saw herself through someone else's eyes. Not a hero, but a destroyer. The days that followed were a blur. Karen sold the diner to pay the fine, but the money barely covered half. She moved into a small apartment, her truck impounded, her life stripped bare. The park, once her sanctuary, was now a forbidden dream. She'd sit by her window, staring at the distant mountains, imagining the Karen flowers she'd never see again. Ethan's words haunted her. Had she really killed what she loved? The question gnawed at her, but pride kept her from seeking answers. One evening, a letter arrived, slipped under her door. It was from Ethan, handwritten and smudged with dirt. I'm sorry, it began. I didn't want this for you, but the park isn't yours or my nights bigger than us. I saved one of the Karen flowers before they died. It's in a greenhouse now, safe. If you want to see it, I'll take you there. Not as a ranger, but as a friend. Karen read the letter again and again, her tears blurring the ink. She wanted to hate him, to burn the letter and curse his name. But something stopped her. A flicker of hope, or maybe shame. She never replied. The letter sat on her table, a reminder of what she'd lost and what she'd failed to understand. The town moved on, the park gates were repaired, and the Karen flowers became a memory, preserved only in Ethan's greenhouse. Karen's name faded from the headlines, replaced by new scandals, new fights. But for her, the fight was over. She'd broken the gate, but the real barrier was the one she'd built around herself: her pride, her refusal to see beyond her own needs. In the end, Karen's story wasn't about a truck or a gate or even a fine. It was about a woman who loved too fiercely and too selfishly, who thought she could bend the world to her will and paid the ultimate price. Not just her freedom, but her place in the land she called home. The Karen flowers, delicate and fleeting, were gone. And so was the woman who'd once believed they belonged to her. Nd.